My wife's been hanging out with her female coworkers after work many nights. Asked to see her phone, found out she was cheating on me. To begin, I work nights and she works the day shift. Her employment is a male-dominated sector, and she seems to spend more time with coworkers. There is female support workers in areas such as the office, parts room, and so on. We're both in our 40s and have been together for 17 years. She just recently began working, so a workplace connection would not have presented itself in the past. She's been spending a lot of time with her female employees after work lately. She gets off work at 5 p.m. and doesn't come home until about 7-8 p.m. She didn't get home till the morning a few times because she got drunk with them and slept it off. That's odd since she's typically quite responsible and doesn't get carried away in social settings. I'm not really worried at this time. I wasn't scheduled to work last night, so I went to bed at a regular time, at 3 a.m. Her iPhone screen woke me up in bed. I couldn't tell whether she was texting or surfing the internet, and she wasn't doing anything sneaky with her screen, such as angling it away, etc. So it's most likely benign. Then she stood up and began getting ready for work. Her shift now begins at 8 a.m., and she wouldn't need to leave sooner than 7 a.m. if she wanted to get a snack before heading in. I thought your shift didn't start until 8, I inquired. She was aware of this, but said that she was going for a stroll with her coworkers before work. She's a diesel mechanic, and they wear uniforms to work. So she seemed to be more cleaned up than usual for a stroll or work. I'm not dressed up, but yes. She was out of the home by 4 a.m. and would most likely be at her friend's place by 4:30. It's still extremely dark, and it's raining drizzling outside, with a temperature of 45°. In Arizona, no one has a raincoat. As a result, the weather would be unsuitable for a stroll. She drives a truck, whereas I drive a vehicle. So, about 5 p.m., I contacted her and asked if I could borrow the vehicle to transport some items to the landfill. She didn't respond. I phoned 15 minutes later to inquire. She said that they were still out on their stroll, but that they should simply come to her job when she arrived and grab it then. Whether it hadn't been raining, I would have thought it would be a wonderful time to observe if her hair was wet after a second shower. My brain operates a little differently than other people's, and I'm bad at reading social signs, for example. Is this something I'm overthinking? Update. I challenged her by requesting her phone. She attempted to change the script by demanding my phone and the password, so I handed it to her. I have nothing to conceal and I don't even have time to meet new people. Anyway, I went through her texts and saw that the one discussion I intended to have was conveniently omitted. So I entered her phone number, and her boyfriend's, whoever's name appeared. I gave her the phone and told her I wanted to view his text messages with her. She appeared surprised, but I told her everything I knew, such as how she texted him before leaving the house today and when she returned, and how I knew she was with him when she was purportedly in Vegas. She pretended she didn't understand why our phone company had many pages of messaging logs between her and him. I walked upstairs and informed her I was packing a suitcase and going since she didn't want to do anything except storm off upstairs and withdraw to her bed. I gathered my belongings and departed. Update. I've admitted that I have anger problems, which is what finally pushed her away. Actually, I've been making terrific progress. She's never acknowledged to the affair, but I can forgive her because of my involvement in it all. She has informed me that there is no possibility of us reuniting, and she has recommended that we cohabitate for the sake of the children. So I was hoping that we will be able to reconcile one day. I'm worried that she offered cohabitation as a compromise because she was still terrified. So I offered her a divorce if that's what she really wants. She hasn't mentioned anything since. That led me to believe she didn't want it. Who knows, maybe she was softening up a bit as well. We even brought the kids out to supper last night, and she was friendly and chatty, even glancing at me as she spoke. I had a feeling the ice surrounding her heart was thawing. Then, on the way home, she threw a jab at me, as if to remind herself that she doesn't love me. She was gone this morning. I knew exactly where she was. I know where he lives, unbeknownst to her. I had previously photographed her vehicle in his trailer carport. I'm not sure why I bothered, although it may have been to measure her feelings. When I arrived, there was only his vehicle in the drive. But then I saw her truck close. She had no idea I was there, but she contacted me asking whether we needed trash bags and other supplies. I informed her we were out of creamer and asked if she was at the grocery store and if she could fetch me some more, as if I'm supposed to believe her. I wasn't receiving a reaction, but I soon saw him pulling his vehicle out of the driveway, her truck backing in, and his truck leaving. I couldn't get a clear look of them, but I'm sure they departed together. So I walked to the front door and rang the doorbell. There was no response. I texted her to see whether she had received the email I mentioned earlier. She said she didn't see anything and so on. So I told her what it was, and she said we'd discuss it when she came home. She texted that she was going to Costco. "No, you're not," I responded. She sent a photo of the Costco building around 45 minutes later. So she's just arrived and is putting down a cover narrative. If she wanted me to believe her, I told her she needed to send me a photo of the vehicle. She stated unequivocally that she is unconcerned. I responded through text message, "You're a wonderful person, and I know you're trying to save me from suffering any more, or maybe you're terrified of me, for which I apologize." At this point, the falsehoods hurt more than the truth. She sent me a photo of herself at Costco. I have yet to react. I'm torn since I've often abandoned her and the kids. That's something I don't want to do again. But I'm ready to move on at this time. But remaining entails living with someone I care about and her lying to either protect me, or because she is terrified of how I will respond. None of this is good for you. Update. I have no intention of performing such little stuff. This article was intended to be a place for all of us to discuss those petty ideas we've all had. I was hoping to hear some petty musings from others. I'm in a decent mental position right now. I've gotten decent sleep the past few nights. I'm finding things to do like beginning day trading, $2,500 gain from first transaction. I still have it. And my therapist has been a tremendous help, as I believe we've gotten to the fundamental reasons of my own troubles in days rather than weeks or months. Update. My therapist advised me not to make any hasty judgments while my emotions were running high, so I listened to his advice and waited. My wife and I are cohabiting for the sake of the children. Yeah, I'm a jerk who pays for a roof over my SDBXW while she's off banging this man. She has a separate group chat with the kids and tells them stuff like she's out with Maria buying drinks, despite the fact that it's 4 a.m. and she needs to be at work in a few hours and the bars aren't open. My autistic child, who is high functioning, searches up stuff like when the bars are open or when the gym is open. As a result, they are now finding her telling falsehoods to them. She may lie all she wants to me, but she's messed up with the kids now. So, after a few of decent night's sleep, I'm not losing sleep over her anymore. I spoke with a lawyer. According to the lawyer, with equal time, child support would be just $42 per month. My wife does not want to sell the family house since she would be unable to buy me out and could not finance it on her own. If I want to sell the home, the lawyer says it will be sold. So I'm in a position of power here. I got a lot more money saved up than she has, so we're looking at an equal distribution. However, some of those assets, such as 401k and business stock, haven't yet vested, and the lawyer argues that's a fair reason for not being able to claim them since they're still unclear. She told me I could safeguard everything by using the home as leverage. Essentially, if I want to continue paying half of the mortgage until the kids are grown in 5 years, I could bargain for half of the future equity and use it as a concession to safeguard my savings. At that point, it would effectively be a real estate transaction.